Queridos amigos poetas, estoy feliz de que en este día importante para el movimiento de los 100.000 poetas por el cambio es para la memoria de nuestro querido amigo Michael y la fuerza de sus sueños. Por desgracia, las injusticias perpetradas por los poderes fuertes del mundo no se detienen y deberíamos seguir elevando nuestras voces para todos aquellos que no tienen la posibilidad de hacerse oír o incluso de ser vistos por los demás porque son invisibles. En este día tan importante, el mundo ciertamente no es el mismo, gracias al trabajo de Michael y Terry y de todos nosotros. Luego está el reciente lanzamiento del libro del movimiento y de sus primeros 10 años de actividad. Y creo que es algo muy hermoso. Y gracias a Pilar, Lisa y Canudo. Os abrazos a todos, a Terry, y viva la poesía, siempre.
It's the nature of song. It's the nature of song. Well, what do we know about nature? What do we know about truth? What do we know about anything? What are we trying to prove? 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 It's the nature of war, makes you wanna shout no. No blood, no pain, no killing floor. That's right. It's the nature of war. It's the nature of war. It's the nature of man, makes you wanna lend a hand, makes you do anything you can. It's the nature of man. It's the nature of man. Well, what do we know about nature? What do we know about truth? What do we know about anything? What are we trying to prove? 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 What are we trying to prove?
Hey, welcome. Hello. Thank you so much for that wonderful song. And those were Joe Kidd and Sheila Berkey saying hello and welcome to this book launch of this book that we'll be talking about it for the next 2 hours. And I just want to say Joe and Sheila are part of it. and they are artists, very complete artists, poets, and singers. And we'll be sharing the video and their song in our pages. And I wanna welcome my co-hosts. I'm Pilar Rodriguez, by the way, Canuto Roldan, Lisa Vijos, and of course Terry Carrion, who is a co-founder of our movement 100,000 Poets for Change, and who has accepted co-hosting and presenting this book for you poets, for all of us poets for change. And we are just very happy and excited to share this with you. For us, it's a celebration, and we'll be sharing more. Please, Canuto Roldan.
Hey, thank you, Pilar. So we are really excited. Just to say that we have a long program for presenting a lot of guests who happily are joining us to launch this beautiful book that has needed a lot of work. Thank you so much. And please, Lisa.
Yeah, welcome everyone. It's so exciting to be here, to be with you. As Canuto and Pilar have said, it's an honor and pleasure to be presenting this book that we've worked so hard on, bringing together all your stories and making one giant archive of what has happened. And there's so much more to share, and we're so excited that you're here with us. So thank you. And we're going to have a great 2 hours together. Terry, did you want to say anything too?
Sure. Thank you so much for making this happen. And Michael would be very, very happy, and because he probably thought of the idea first. I don't remember, of course. So I appreciate all your hard work, and it's beautiful beyond anything I expected. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to hearing words from others. So onward.
Well, if I may, actually, I want to take the credit because I did propose the book to Michael, and then it became our project. Yes, it was before, and we thought it could be ready, right around when we would turn into a 10-year movement. I was checking our emails, and before this, Michael invited a few of our members, especially those who had met before in Salerno, and we had a group. And as you remember, Lisa and Canuto, and I don't remember, I think Terry, you might, I'm not sure if you were involved at that time, but we had this group and wrote the call for entries. And this was published early 2020. So you know what year that was. And so we extended the deadline. I think the whole year was open for submissions. And of course, we started to get all kinds of submissions. The submissions were, by the way, for essays, not for poetry. And that was different from everything. And what we wanted is to try to tell the story of the movement with different voices and different perspectives. And we received the essays. And then Michael started having not only his illness, but started having other personal issues, and it got postponed. Finally, he decided to step down, and I think he spoke with a few people, but at the end, it was Lisa and Canuto and I who took over, read how many essays we had, you guys remember?
150, somewhere in there. A lot. It was a lot. But
yeah, and actually we added at the end, we included articles posted in online newspapers who were adding more information about the different perspectives all around the world. More material like photos, posters, and even tweets, right, Pilar? Because we had a lot of actions on Twitter during 1 year here in Mexico. So it was so beautiful to to take this action and this commitment of a lot of poets around the world to take the poetry on the streets, to take it to the people, to talk without censorship, because we believe in poetry as a tool against colonialism and on all the colonialism or isms that affect us and oppresses us. So it's really beautiful to have a lot of activists and poets here in this book.
And well, let's move on to talk more in detail about the book. And maybe Chava, our tech person, thank you so much for helping us. And if you could start the next segment of the video we're going to watch.
This is the message we will bring to the world. With our voices, we will save the world. With our poetry that supports justice, mercy, that goal is exemplifying righteousness in all actions, towards all things economic, all things environmental, and all things social, we will bring to the world. This is the message we will bring to the world. 100,000 poets for change. 100,000 poets for change. We have a goal. That goal is change. That goal is change.
Okay. I think we're it's you and me, Terry.
Yeah.
I think one of the first things we wanted to share a little bit about is just, at the beginning of the book, we were able to include an interview that I had happened to do with Michael and Terry. It was after the first year of Hundreds. It was after 2011. I really wanted poets in Wisconsin, especially, to understand what this was, this worldwide movement. It was so exhilarating and exciting to be part of. And because I'm involved, I live in Wisconsin, and I had access to a publication that would put the word out. So I wrote to Michael and Terry. I didn't know them very well yet, but through the interview process and then just all the years that followed after and getting to know each other, it was a great beginning because it helped me understand, Michael's early years in the environmental movement and all the work that Terry was doing behind the scenes. And it was nice that we could include the interview at the beginning of the book. I don't know, Terry, did you want to comment on that, or on also there was the issue of, or not the issue, but the contribution of Jim Spitzer and his beautiful artwork. How did that piece come?
Yeah, well, also the video we just saw, which was, beautiful Yvonne de la Vega,
yes,
who's no longer with us. She was one of the firsts.
That's right.
Like you and a lot of us that are here today. And she was great, and she made this video for us. I think might have been the first video or second video ever that people made for us. And she was a force. And Jessica will be here later. They did a great event at Beyond Baroque with lots of musicians and bands. It was a huge festival. So that video was put together by her, and Barrymore, I forget his first name, is who mixed it and put the music in. But yeah, so that's that. And then I remember when you first came along, and then that was quite a journey for you, I know. And it was really exciting to see how you evolved throughout the years. And Michael was really good at motivating and guiding, which,
Yes, he was.
as you all know. But that interview is nice. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I kind of read it and said, "Who is that person?" I don't know. That's me.
Long time ago.
Long, different time ago. But no, it's great, and it was nice for you to do that. As far as Jim Spitzer, well, Michael, we met Jim Spitzer at an office supply furniture store in Santa Rosa, California, because we were looking for bookcases. And we came in, and the owner of the bookstore was like, "Do you want to meet a famous artist?" And we pointed over at Jim, who was sitting in, an office chair, just kind of lounging there. It turned out that you know, he was the artist, local artist, and we kind of got to know him there. And then Michael started painting with him later on, and I started doing, you know, archive work for him, archiving all his artwork. And Michael kind of, that's where his painting journey kind of began with Jim Spitzer. And,
Wow.
and they did a lot of collaborative pieces. And as far as 100,000 Poets, we kind of, you know, told him, hey, Jim, why don't you do something for 100,000 Poets? So, of course, he came up with, which was one of his things, these characters, these heads, we call them, these people, scenes of masses of people, which he did a whole series of those of his own. And yeah, he did it, you know, acrylic on a canvas. And then we made these prints, which are still available, actually.
Yeah, it's a really powerful image.
So, yeah, it's kind of where Michael first got the little art bug from him, and went on from there, as we know, to produce a lot of paintings.
I think time to introduce the first contributor who we have lined up in our big lineup today. So I'm going to be introducing Laura Chauvin, and I want to read you her bio. Hi, Laura. Such an honor to introduce you, my friend Laura.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, Clarksville, Maryland. Laura's an award-winning children's book writer. Her books include Take Down, A Place at the Table, The Last Fifth Grade of Emerson Elementary. She's a longtime poet in the schools. She teaches at Vermont College of Fine Arts. And her poetry collection for children called Welcome to Monsterville was a collaboration that she did with Michael in the last couple years. And it's a beautiful, wonderful book. And I'm going to take it to Wilson Elementary School in Sheboygan at the end of the week and read a poem to a child. So I'm very excited. So
that's wonderful. I have, it's been very special to go to schools and introduce kids to Michael's art and see how they respond to it and how they want to create their own monsters. And it was Michael's art and Michael's monsters that really started that book off. But we're here to talk about this book. And I'm so honored to be part of it. It is just a stunning book and an archive also. So I'm not going to talk too much. I just would like to read from the beginning of my essay, which is about the World Conference in Salerno, Italy in 2015. And the essay is called A Lasting Culture of Connection. When 60 poets arrived in Salerno, the city was bustling with summer energy. The poets were gathering at the Arte e Cafe across from the local Duomo. Everyone sparked with energy, the positive charge of meeting friends and colleagues we'd only known online. Dozens of us crammed around tables, sitting shoulder to shoulder as more people arrived for the conference and more greetings were made. We sat in wooden chairs, enjoying conversation, coastal sunshine, and cocktails of spumante and Campari. An English language newspaper was passed from person to person, confirming what we already knew. Several poets had been denied entry by Italian immigration. It was the height of Europe's migrant crisis. It didn't matter that these were poets visiting Salerno for a brief conference. They were kept out because of where they came from: Nepal, Ghana, Nigeria, Afghanistan, Morocco, Egypt, Malawi, Bangladesh. Only a handful of African poets made it through. Although we were glad at last to be together, this first meeting was colored by anger. It was an injustice that our colleagues were turned away. That first night, we shared pizza on a rooftop with views of the city. It was overwhelming and beautiful, taking in so many faces and people and stories from across the globe. Each of these poets was a community activist, hosting readings, slams, festivals. Michael Rothenberg opened the first session with a call for fellowship. He was inviting us to think about the home communities where we do our individual work. 100,000 Poets for Change is about looking beyond our own literary circles and forming global connections. We had all come to Salerno as evidence of that aspiration. We were bound by our commitment to a shared belief: poetry is an agent of positive change. And I just one more time would like to thank Terry, Lisa, Canuto, and Pilar for their work on this beautiful book. And Lisa, I will pass it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for sharing the beginning of your essay. My next introduction is for Manaz Badahian. Manaz is from San Francisco, California, originally from Iran, poet, painter, translator, published in several languages worldwide. She's a member of the Revolutionary Poets Brigade in San Francisco. In 2020, she published an anthology of poems and art from around the world, focusing on COVID-19. And Manaz, welcome. Manaz's poem opens the book. Would you like to share the poem, Manaz?
Hi, everyone. I did not receive the book, so I'm just going to read a poem.
Wonderful.
Bilingual, very short, won't take lots of your time. I just want to say that how fortunate I was that I was in Salerno with Terry and Michael. It was amazing time. I was very fortunate. So the poem, I'm going to read a very short segment in Farsi. من آنجا بودم گواه بر جنون آدمی کشتن تخریب گردن زدن من آنجا بودم به اخبار جنگ کودکان گرسنه تجاوز ترس از پلیس ترس از دست دادن خانه هامان ترس از کاپیتالیسم هر روز چون ضربه‌ای بر سرم فرود می آمد. I was there witness to a human being's insanity, killing, demolishing, and beheading. I was there, and the news of wars, hungry children, rape, fear of police, fear of losing your home, fear of capitalism hit me in the head every single day. I wish the world was my baby and I could cuddle it, to feed it and protect it. A baby that could grow in nature with peace next to flowers and trees, birds and animals. Let us start this world over again. Let us call Adam and Eve to make kinder, gentler babies. Thank you.
Thank you, Manaz.
Thank you.
Hey. So thank you, Manaz. Although the poem that she just read is not the one we have in the book, I would like to just share the photo of this is the image of Jim's work, Jim Spitzer, that they were talking about a little while ago. And we have here Manaz's poem, and it's a poem that I found on the website. I don't know if Michael shared it with me. I don't know how I had it. I used to share it a lot in our poetry hangers, Manaz, and it's called We Are 100,000 Poets for Change. So you guys, when you get the book, you will be able to look at it and read it. But thank you for sharing your poem. We are open to all expressions here. So thank you for being with us, Manaz, and we'll see you soon. We're going to go quickly because we are already behind time. And I just wanted to quickly comment that one of the reasons we shared that video at the beginning with you was because our chapters try to tell the story, as we have said already. So our very first chapter is called We Have a Goal, in honor of that video. And we have, of course, here, Michael. And the second chapter we called, as you may remember, if you answer the call for entries, I'm sorry, actually the chapter is chronicling a collective memory, and I'm showing you parts of the book. And so we're going to go ahead and try to follow a bit of the book and tell you a little bit about it. And foundational experiences, and the next one, miscellany of experience, tries to give the idea of what it was for us to build this and how it was different for each one of us. And you'll find out when you read the book of course. And our next video, we're gonna have one of our very original organizers, Youssef Alaoui, who sent us a little long video. And I'm gonna say that now. I apologize to a few of those who send very long videos and I had to edit them. We will publish them in their entirety on our pages. But given that we have so many people waiting to be live, I had to do that. But here's a segment of the video that Youssef sent us. Go ahead, Jeff.
Guess what? Do you have this yet? It's wonderful. This book is beautifully made with these gorgeous colors. Apparently designed by Pilar Aranda, and with the help of Lisa Vijos and Canuto Roldan. Lisa Vijos, wonderful human being. If you do not know her yet, please check her out. Write her. She'd probably love to hear from you. And Canuto is excellent, wonderful poet in Mexico City, and a beautiful human being as well. And this book, Pilar, you've really done an outrageous... Look at the large panels. If you want to see each poster in its, full detail, just go to 100tpc.org. And you could probably even download one or two and print it out for your own wall. But this kind of generous layout makes it like relaxing. It's a beautiful, relaxing, gorgeous book to look at with very deliberate and clear sections of text. Every single page is important. I don't know how they narrowed it down. These guys... I can't talk enough about it. The Turkish acrobats just brought it to a whole other level. The mimes for change in Egypt. There was a whole circus school that was going to cooperate with us. We met other people with worldwide missions and cooperated with them. And all of a sudden, it really became a big worldwide thing that it is today. And any of you involved with this effort, you have people. If anyone should drop you off out of a helicopter and, whatever, you'd probably be 50 miles from a poet you already know, who already knows your name, who would welcome you to their town, probably bring you in for a meal or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It made a network out of the entire world. Now, that's no small feat. Buy this book. I know, I feel like I'm selling something. Buy this book. I'm over my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Youssef. He was going to be live, but he couldn't. He's an Arab Latino writer born in California and based in Morro Bay. And when you get the book, you can read the rest of his bio. And curiously enough, he showed the page of our next poet, Amit Shankar, Dr. Amit Shankar Saha. I don't know if I said it correctly. He's based in Kolkata, India. He's a poet, writer, and academic, co-founder of Rhythm Divine Poets, and editor-in-chief of EKL Review. Please welcome Amit. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, thank you, everyone. It is a privilege to speak at the launch of this 100,000 Poets for Change, 10 plus years of activism, this collection in memory of Michael Rothenberg, who along with Terry Carey were the co-founders of 100,000 Poets for Change event. Michael was a visionary. He founded a global event which people can connect locally. And in Rhythm Divine Poets from Kolkata, once we solicited a poem from him, which appears in our Rhythm Divine Poets blog, which is Serenity Spring. And he was so very kind to us. When the call was made for contributions to this volume about foundational experiences. We at Rhythm Divine Poets, the co-founders, I, Amit Shankar, Sufia Khatun, and Anindita Bose, we were very excited. But unfortunately, Michael had to leave. And then these three editors, Pilar, Lisa, and Canuto, took up the project, and now we have this book with us. Our foundational experiences, organizing event locally and connecting globally with the entire world through 100,000 Poets for Change, for sustainability, and reading a poem to a child. These were very, very important for us because it let us, a group of local poets from Kolkata, to connect with the world. And we were very happy doing it. And Michael gave us that opportunity. Uh, so we are very thankful that this happened. And I, along with other poets of Kolkata, was able to connect with a group of poets from all over the world for a very good cause. This anthology is a summation of all the efforts made from all over the world, all the poets. So, often we are asked, why 100? How can 100,000 poets can assemble in a place? Well, like, that is how it happens when you connect local with the global, and that is how this book has to happen. So I'm very thankful I'm representing Rhythm Divine Poets from Kolkata, India. It is 11:30. It is almost 12 at night here, and that is the great thing about this whole 100,000 Poets for Change. We can connect with each other, and I am so very privileged. Thank you, especially to Pilar, Risa, Canuto, and obviously Terry Carrion.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you for staying late and being with us. It's so great to meet you. We hadn't met except for his writing. And we're going to go ahead and continue with our next guest. He was also in Salerno. He is founder of Vagabond, Culver City Book Vagabond Publishing House, Culver City Book Festival, and Elba Poetry Festival. Winner of the 2015 Joe Hill Labor Poetry Award and the 2016 International Latino Book Award and the La Loro di Dante 2023 in Italy. Please welcome Mark Lipman.
Hi, thank you, Pilar, so much. First, I have to say, this is such an amazing book. I'm actually glad that Youssef had gotten so detailed into it so I can just continue off of all the amazing things he's said. First, thank you, Pilar, Lisa, and Canuto for this wonderful work that you've brought together. And of course, to Thierry and Michael for bringing us together as a world of poets. The piece that I have in here, Catalyst, tells about the very early days. There you go. About the early days, the first year of 100,000 Poets for Change. I'm only going to read the very first paragraph here. Then I'm going to continue with a little bit of perspective where this has brought us to today. They say that timing is everything. 2011 was a turning point, and a call went out just at the right moment, a summation of what we were all really feeling, that the status quo had failed us, that something needed to change. This is a moment that so many of us were looking for something to spark in this world. And Thierry and Michael, you guys brought together this spark that united this movement. And something that is so special about 100,000 Poets for Change is that we are so used to seeing all these talking heads in the world, all who want to top down us, all who want to control from the top and rule over us. And that is exactly the opposite of what Michael and Terry did, bringing this group together. 100,000 Poets for Change is a horizontal organizing structure that all of us are so much a part of. We all control the work that we do. And I spoke with Michael in the early days, and this is the vision that he wanted, was that we're all an equal part of making this work, of bringing a global community of poets together. And this is really the legacy that Michael, Terry, and this whole group is about. We are a group of individuals that come together in the best collective fashion possible to make a movement that is outside of ourselves, that is greater than our own mirror, that is about our global community and where we can grow together. So this is something that is so needed, not just 13, 12 years ago, but today and into the future. So thank you again, Terry, Michael, Pilar, Lisa, and Canuto for making this all happen. And here's to another decade and century to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And next we have a very short and sweet video that was sent from London, Canada. And this is Pen Kemp. She has participated in Canadian cultural life for more than 50 years, writing, editing, and publishing poetry, prose, and plays, hosted several 100,000 Poet for Change events, has published 30 books of poetry, prose, and drama, 7 plays, and 10 poetry CDs and DVDs. Welcome, Pen Kemp.
Hello, this is Pen Kemp. I'm talking to you from London, Ontario, Canada. And as London's first poet laureate, Michael Rothenberg contacted me to create an event for 100,000 Poets for Change. So I did in 2012, 2013, and 2014, 15, so 3 or 4 events. Although I have continued to support 100,000 Poets for Change since. Those were the 3 main ones that I coordinated, and we had an event at the library, and it also coincided with Culture Days, so it was broadcast and advertised across Canada. And at the time I had a radio station program called Gathering Voices, so it was also taped, recorded, and played on that show numerous times. So we had 25 readers from all different ages, from 15 to 92, and all different diversities. So it was a great celebration of Poets for Change and social justice and activism, and using poetry as a means to change hearts, because we can only act if our hearts and souls are behind us. And so it was a lovely conjunction with Culture Days and to see poetry in action. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for that words, Pen Kemp. It's really nice having you, if not on live, through these clips. Thank you, Pilar and Lisa, for the first part of the chapters of this beautiful book. So now it's time to go to this next chapter, beautiful one. Its name is A Miscellany of Experiences. Let me show you a little bit of this. Oh, it's here, A Miscellany of Experiences. And what you see in the other part is a beautiful picture of 100,000 mimes for change, because believe it or not, this initiative was spreading in different ways for 100 musicians for change, and then also in Egypt, 100 mimes for change, 100,000 mimes for change. So now, talking about this miscellany of experiences, I want to introduce you to Mariposa del Rocío, a poet, visual artist, dancer, and therapist, member of the collective Artistas Visuales del Sur, co-directs two online radio poetry shows, a native of the South, a red-skinned woman who fights for a single America united in peace and harmony. Welcome, Mariposa del Rocío. Please let us know more about your chapter Con el Corazón.
Hola a todos y a todas. Es un momento muy emocionante este. Este libro, permítanme decirles como escritora y como editora, que es un libro indispensable. Es un libro de historia. En el futuro, cuando lo lean, van a entender el contexto histórico de por qué la necesidad de este activismo poético ya 14 años ahora. Un libro de historia, un libro maravillosamente diseñado, pensado, realizado. Es una pieza de arte en sí mismo, además de su contenido, de esta red de poetas del mundo, unidas por el cambio. Entonces, este es un libro, a mi pensar, a mi sentir, de cómo ser el cambio. Leer las diferentes experiencias de los y las poetas y su paso por estos 10 años y más de este colectivo, habla de eso, de que es posible y que somos el cambio y cómo lo podemos hacer desde el arte. Y Michael fue mi amigo, fue mi mentor, fue mi apoyo durante más de una década. Y entonces voy a leer un poema que no está en el libro, pero que es para Michael. Y este es un homenaje para mi queridísimo amigo Michael Rodenberg. I'm reading and writing while the rain is falling. The window is open. I'm next. Thunders and drops splash my skin. This is almost a novel. I don't give details. Don't give too much explanations. I want you to see. The rain smells. The sun shines. I'm wet. The rain dresses me with her colors. I'm just fine. Keep just is the glue. I'm reading and writing in a landscape you draw in mind. The heart paints it, all your feelings and thoughts and emotions. The rain is wet in this paper. No matter. We share creation. Another thunderbolt and the rainbow. You know me when you read me. You love me when you know me. I'm burning. No more details than the sound of the rain. On my skin, this perfect summer thoughts, afternoon storm, South American way. Believe when I tell you, never do no harm, the commandment. Thank you very much. Love you all, guys. Buy this book. Join us in our web and go on building this wall of poetry around the world.
Thank you so much, Mariposa del Rocío, for bringing this diversity of languages, and because 100,000 Poets for Change are all around the world. So now, let's go now with a beautiful video from Menka. Menka, talking about different countries, is from Mumbai, India, has 4 poetry collections, co-translator of a Sindhi partition poetry anthology, editor of Big Bridge, and for a Sparrow Book of Women's Writing, Awards in Cloth, the Ethos Literary Award and W.E. Eunice de Souza Award. In 1986, co-founder of Poetry Circle. Let's go with Menka Shivadasani video.
I'm Menka Shivadasani in Mumbai, and it is a true honor to find space in this really important new book, 100,000 Poets for Change, 10 plus years of poetic activism. It was a project that was very close to Michael's heart, and he used to talk about it a great deal. He used to wonder about how it could become a reality. And it just breaks my heart that he is not here to see it. But thanks to Pilar Aranda, Lisa Vihos, and Canuto Roldan, this book is now a reality. And it is something that is really a valuable addition to my bookshelf, something that I will treasure all my life. What fascinated me about this book is how it brings together views from across the world of the many ways one could approach this one core idea of peace, justice, and sustainability, and how poets could make that difference. And over the years, we've got children to write poetry about issues such as peace, justice, and sustainability in various ways. We brought out 3 books, and the 4th is on its way. And for me, all this happened because one man from across the world got in touch and asked if I would like to be involved in this project, in this new movement, 100,000 Poets for Change, in 2011. I would like to quote Michael Rothenberg's words from his interview with Lisa Vihos that appears in this book. This is the interview. And he says some really valuable, important things. But this is the paragraph that struck me. As poets, we are supposed to be well read. We are supposed to know about rocks and stars, about nature and culture, about many languages and many countries and peoples and existences. We are supposed to know about all the arts, all kinds of artists, all kinds of schools of artists, not just our own. Poets are supposed to know about many things. At least that's what I was taught growing up, to be a poet. For me, this is what it's about to be a poet. And they participate in society, politics, and culture. That's what a poet does, gets involved. And I'd just like to say thank you, Michael, for getting me involved in this amazing movement. It has enriched me in many, many ways, more than I can recount. Congratulations once again, and do get a copy of this book if you don't already have it.
Thank you, Menka, and bringing all of these experiences from all around the world. So next, we will go to another guest. Is Jennifer Carmine. She founded in. Hey, Jennifer, it's nice to see you again.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, this is so great.
So long time. You remember?
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
I was so excited to introduce you because we had a really good time at Salerno. And
oh my gosh, the best.
Also, you got a beautiful chapter here in this beautiful book. Let's see. You see this poster is
it's so good.
Making justice to all of the experiences you are sharing. So let me introduce you more. Founded in 2005 to foster innovative form and aesthetic solidarities, each collaborative event is designed as a reading experiment with a diversity of writers, curated by Jennifer Carmine, Lara Goldstein, and others. Please, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here to honor all the Poets for Change writers, activists, participants, and Michael and Terry's Global Vision. We're here in Chicago. Hello from Chicago. Red Rover's an interdisciplinary reading and performance series. I'm going to read a selection from a collaborative poem that came out of our Poets for Change community. We've done so many events over the years. In 2017, we were part of some citywide events for an organization and group called Chicago Writers Resist. And of course, a lot of these writers that I'm going to be reading from the work right now are featured in this new anthology, this new wonderful book. This is a collaborative poem we put together called Resistance Dreams. So I'm going to read a few selections. Polyrhythmic dreamers and dreams and beating hearts beating on a dreamy planet, beating in a dreamy galaxy, swirling through some dreamy cosmos, chasing. Significance is just a dream, but resistance is futile. Dreams will not be silenced. It's what we do. We dream. Even in these banged up hearts, even though we know aortic violence of a dream deferred, we have no choice. It's what we do. We dream. Resist. Oh my God, how to use that word in a poem, much less actualize such actions for real and not on the phone. Help, muses, envelop my quietude in your cascades of fury, are born tones that wrap icy gray Chicago air in amber, embers, and violet tonalities of differentiated, discerning, particular thought under threat. Move, please, my slow bones through the spirit's pathways and actual streets to get real. Fight the power, word up, and fight back to remember my first hero, Martin Luther King. It resists, but I dream anyway. Put the play into motion, pray anyway. A notion of good versus evil exists. Tell us about the disquiet. Tell us about the fear. Tell us about the migrant. Tell us about the care. Tell us about the extinction. Tell us about the urgency. Tell us about the suffering. Tell us about the task. Tell us about the refusal. Tell us about the storm. Tell us about the rising. Tell us about the will to resist. Tell us about the last days. Tell us about the visions. Tell us about the fire. Tell us about the dream. Thank you so much for having me today. This is amazing to be here and to hear all the inspiring stories about Poets for Change. I'm so grateful to Michael and Terry for the work they've done and everyone also who edited this book. I can't wait to get my copy, still coming to Chicago. And thank you for letting us be here today online. This is wonderful.
Hello, my dear friends. I would like to give greetings to all the participants of this great and important event in which we promote this book that documents the 10-year activity of 1,000 Poets for Change with diverse cultural activities by artists from different countries of the world. First, I want to thank the editorial group of this book, Pilar, Lisa, and Canuto, whom we meet in Salerno. And then the men who united us all around this organization, the founder Michael Rosenberg and Terry Carrion. As we know, Michael has been no longer with us physically, but spiritually, he lives in our hearts. I know how difficult it is to compile such a book where the material must be collected carefully, then selected, arranged, and prepared for printing. I congratulate them for their tireless work and the will to publish such a book that will be the testimony of 10 years of activity under the motto Peace, Justice, and Sustainability. I feel proud to be part of this initiative and part of this group of good people who try to contribute as much as they can for the good of society and humanity. I wish that these activities do not stop and that all of us follow and realize the project that Michael started and left to us to continue. Finally, I want to thank all of you who are part of the 1000 Poets for Change with the desire and will to continue this activity in the future. Peace and love to all of you. Thank you.
Eriata, my friend.
Hello?
Yes, Eriata, we can hear you. You can share about your experience.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so very much. It's really nice seeing these beautiful and handsome faces once more. Since after our meet at Salerno, I don't think I've met anyone again apart from Pilar, whom we met in San Diego and later at her own state, Tijuana. My experience in the 100,000 Poets for Change goes beyond when, because encountering the 100,000 Poets for Change set the footing for all I do today in poetry promotion in Nigeria. Yes, I started in Abuja promoting the 100,000 Poets for Change as the coordinator of the event, and was able to set up different locations where we had several events in the name of the 100,000 Poets for Change. Whatever I do today in poetry promotion in this my country, Nigeria, was as a result of what I gathered from the 100,000 Poets for Change. And I take the organization as the bedrock for all I do today. It is important to state that what landmark one, because we could connect with ourselves, we could speak to ourselves as a family. And that has really brought a lot of life to what we do in terms of using poetry as a tool for supporting justice and all that. You can see from that photo you're showing now, the guy just by my right or the guy by my left holding the phone there is Nigeria's topmost poetry promoter and spoken word poet in the name of Dike Chukwumerije. When I hosted him recently in Lagos, he never stopped talking about the 100,000 Poets for Change, because that was also where he first and foremost was put on stage to start performing in the city of Abuja. Eriata Oribhabor is reputed to have done a lot of, scored a lot of firsts in terms of poetry promotion in Abuja. And whenever they talk about poetry, they talk of the 100,000 Poets for Change, they talk about Eriata, because while we use the 100,000 Poets for Change as a vehicle for reaching out to different communities in this federal capital territory of Abuja, nothing had ever happened the way it is happening now. So they always make reference to Eriata, and once reference is made to Eriata, they say, oh, we remember when you took us to that lake. You remember when you took us to that lake, all under the name of the 100,000 Poets for Change. So the 100,000 Poets for Change has been referenced severally in all my books, in all my works, and I always sometimes just go back to look at the photographs at Salerno and all the tours, the evening poetry reading, bonfires, and all that. I think the experiences from the 100,000 Poets for Change will always live with me, and I'm happy I'm also using those experiences to touch lives in Nigeria via poetry. I want to commend the team that has been able to put this together. I know it has been harrowing bringing all this together because it's not easy at all. So all the while I get several emails and all that, I've been trying to catch up with all of them to see that I don't fail today's meeting. I thank you so very much for the opportunity to speak, and I appreciate you so very much that The 100,000 Poets for Change gave me the opportunity to travel out of my country on the score of poetry for the first time. And since after my trip to Salerno, nothing has made me to travel outside my country for poetry. I look forward to another 100,000 Poets for Change event, wherever it is. I pray I'll be able to connect in these hard times of our naira nose diving in comparison with the dollar and all that. However, it's my pleasure to be here, and I'm always available to give all my contributions to whatever has to do with the 100,000 Poets for Change. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Eriata. I think the experience you have and you were working in Nigeria is an example of how organize and manage a great group of people. You can find Roncom in page 91 on our book. Roncom is editor of Sensitive Skin magazine and published poet. Thank you, Roncom, for joining us. And please tell us more about the Unveribles.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. First of all, I am very grateful to have gotten a copy of the book. I got 2 copies. I have an archive at New York University Library in the Fales collection, and 1 copy will end up in the Fales. We've been doing these readings for years. I'll read really quickly. The Unbearables were a poetry collective. We're loosely based in New York City. I've very gratefully been able to participate in Michael Rothenberg and Terry Carrion's wonderful poetic creation, 100,000 Poets from Change, from 2012 up to the present. We have had access to many terrific alternative venues when the time to gather and read for 100,000 Poets for Change arrives. For the first go-round in 2012, we read in tandem with Larissa Schmeilos, Feminist Poets in Low-Cut Blouses, at Steve's Cannons, a gathering of the tribes on the Lower East Side. The 4th time we got together to read, it took place in the Sidewalk Cafe and was organized with Valerie Ostiano. We've also read at Unnameable Books in Brooklyn, at the Parkside Lounge in the East Village. Jim Feast hosted and helped organize many of the readings, and we always had a great time, and we always came away from these events as a tighter community filled with love for our friends and humanity in general. I did want to say that I did meet Michael Rothenberg in Grand Central Terminal. He came to town to do a reading at Unnameable Books, and we went out to Unnameable Books, and it was just wonderful to read with him. He was a terrific human being. And then the other thing is, I don't know if this is visible, but we have organized 100,000 Poets for Change reading in New York City that will take place next Saturday, the 30th. From 4 to 7, it'll be at Otto's Shrunken Head in the East Village on Houston Street, on 14th Street, pretty far east. And there's some 27 people who will be reading there, really great people from the poetry scene. And one of the people who'll be reading will be on your program, I think, somewhere along the line. I saw her name was there, Dorothy Friedman is one of the readers, but it's an incredible lineup of people. So I don't want to take too much time. I'm just so grateful to be part of it. Thank you so much. Please, everyone, be safe and take care. Thank you. Oh, I can't hear you.
Thank you, Roncom, for giving us this beautiful message and for collaborating with this beautiful book. So now I want to take you with Thea Iberall. Thea. Welcome, Thea.
Great. Can you hear me?
Pretty nice. How you doing?
Oh, great. I'm doing great. I'm in Massachusetts, Medfield, Massachusetts, and I moved here in 2015 and started a coffee house called the Espresso Yourself Coffee House. And that first year that we started it, I found 100,000 Poets for Change, and I knew the second I found it that we had to participate in it because social justice is a very important topic at First Parish Unitarian Universalist. church at Medfield, and that's where Espresso Yourself Coffee House is. And I love the book. I got it. I've been pouring through it, and I just want to read an excerpt from our essay to describe, to show you what we're like. As the host of Espresso Yourself Coffee House, I start off the night with Absolute Truth, a poem by Thomas Slater. For you mustn't ask to seek the truth before you believe, but rather you simply must believe before you'll ever see. Starting in February 2016, the vestry of the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Medfield, Massachusetts, is transformed once a month into a Parisian cafe. Purple and yellow tablecloths cover small round tables. The church wanted to build community, the essence of human experience. As a progressive faith community, the UUs have a principle, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And when I learned about 100,000 Poets for Change, I knew Espresso should be part of this global movement. The first open mic participant is a 15-year-old, and she says, I am a museum and you are a hospital. I recognize sickness. She's smiling until the end when cracks of her pain leak out through the edges of her smooth face. Another poet speaks of going to Washington, D.C. to protest climate change. She says, I was too dazzled by the conveniences of capitalism to join into a solidarity economy. And then 6-foot-tall Deb Griffith comes to the mic, and she says, race is not real, but it causes real pain. I learned recently that I am white. And when Jamil Adams hits the stage, the evening turns sublime. He says, imagine going to a church and getting shot. Once upon a time, there was light. There was freedom. Once upon a time, we became me. It's another night at Espresso Yourself Coffee House. I just want to say that, I just want to quote the physicist Paul Dirac. He says, in science, one tries to tell people in such a way as to be understood by everyone, something that no one ever knew before. But in the case of poetry, it's the exact opposite. It's something that everyone knows, but is understood by hardly anybody. And that's what we do as poets, is we teach people the reality and the truth of what everybody knows. Thank you for doing this work and for
Thank
helping
you.
to do that.
Thanks to you. Cannot agree more with your words and with your chapter you brings. So you guys can see and can read and on the page 74, Thea Iberall contribution. Next, we will go with another dear poet. Let's go, Thea Iberall and other friends and guys, poets from all over the world, to know more about Dennis Formento.
Getting access to Richard Boyd's poetry after his death was a spy drama. Richard founded 100 TPC North Shore in summer 2015 and passed away in early 2017. His affable, solid presence was respected in this community. He was in the public eye, journalist as well as poet, writing daily news of local politics, so everybody knew he was a liberal in a conservative parish in the American Deep South. Richard was much respected for his strong, formal poems, crafting one per week every year after his retirement from newspapering. The poets were up for whatever he was up for. He was comfortable with that. But his siblings didn't respect his poems or viewpoints and would not allow access to his poetry. 100 TPC wanted to do a tribute to him, featuring his son Ezra and daughter-in-law, and it was only through the intervention of his other son that we got some poems out of the box they were hidden in to read at our September event. Here's his poem, Are You Ready? Where is the poetry and the low land ballads? Where is the rhythm pure, conversations of sunsets and joy of secret beaches? Where is the delicate stuff that gives us the tenderness? Through a long, dark valley of discursive friction, a country sadly laying bare its deepest nagging discord, where insult, scorn ricocheted across the great golden plains, bounced off majestic mountains, trampled like wild grasses, trodden upon for the new trails, our national dialogue, shrillness, the ugliest undercurrents emerging, hate, scorn, ridicule prevail in this longest and darkest chapter of decency assailed at all turns.
Hey, to Lisa. So that guy was Dennis Formento. His books include Spirit Vessels and Looking for an Out Place, Food Hills Publishing 2018 and 2010. So that was a beautiful friend, Dennis Formento. And Rita, Lisa, is still trying. So let's bring Rita just one more opportunity.
There's Rita.
Rita, we can hear you
Hello.
finally.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh my word! Ah, a poet needs a voice. So my spouse was here helping me.
Hello, everyone.
We went and got a microphone because I wanted to do the right tech, and that didn't work. So thank you all.
We're ready for you.
We're here. Tell us your message.
When I first held the book, I felt a joyful uprising of world voices amplifying across borders, cultures, and felt how powerful we are because of each other. We are the Ubuntu of poets. Our part was creating a local venue, Poets for Change. Whoops. Okay. A home base to gather beyond the streets to share poetry of uplift and uprising. I shared my idea with Taj, a musician friend, spoken word artist, and social justice rapper. We share a history with 100,000 Poets for Change. We felt the time was right for a venue where poets could come together to share passionate spoken word pieces about pressing issues, not to compete, but to empower community, common unity. For the venue, I asked friends who serve in the Nonviolent Peace Force, who owned Imagination Brewery and Center for Community Transformation. Their vision was to combine excellent beer with space for justice and share their tap room for events. Poetry for Change was a natural extension of their mission. We always begin by honoring Indigenous peoples and land where our community resides. We welcome the poets and audience with hope to inspire one another, to overcome and brew a revolution of social consciousness. We show the power of poetry by honoring an Indigenous poet or an international poet who suffered deeply as prisoners of conscience, were disappeared or murdered for their words. We share their stories and one of their poems. We choose poets from places of strife across the world. We recruit local poets of all identities and ages and introduce each poet with a short bio to help build community. Poets share their original pieces from immigrant rights to gender rights and climate justice, isms, militarism, racism, sexism, the destruction of the planet, war and corporate greed, and to foster hope for peace by reading to a child. Poets for Change is the color of the future. It is sweetness and belief of Mila, my granddaughter, who blows dandelion seeds into the wind to assure next year's crop of flowers.
We've moved into the next section called Personal is Political. And our next contributor is Charms Tianzon. Charms is co-founder of Spoken Word Manila. Hi, Charms.
Hello.
She's a performance poet, frontwoman of her band Matilda. She's graduated from the University of the Philippines, teaches at De La Salle College of Sant Benilde, and her tracks are on Spotify and other streaming apps. And welcome, we're so happy to see you.
Thank you. I am also so happy and so honored to be here. Again, thank you to everyone who is part of this book. I wish Michael is here. I know that wherever he is, he's smiling over us. Thank you, Terry, Lisa, Canuto, Pilar, all of you who are able to be part of 100 TPC. 100,000 Poets for Change has changed my life. Here in our country, there are just so many controversies, so many issues surrounding us. And poetry is a driving force for all of us to be able to express our opinions and to be able to express everything that we would want to say. If I could talk to Allen Ginsberg, I'd probably tell him that I've also seen the best minds of my generation, seeing all of us and being able to do this. I mean, this is an incredible feat. And thank you to technology that we are able to hold events simultaneously and feel as if we are all together as a community, even though we are far apart from each other. We are all having the same goal. We all are passionate with our poetry and we are passionate about changing the world. That poetry is not limited to, having the benefits, the credentials of winning prizes, getting grants, or being able to get prestige or whatever, but to actually make a difference, be able to change the world through it. It's a very powerful thing. And I'd like to thank everyone who's part of this. Either they are here with us right now or not with us, or to my other friends who have already disappeared, who have died, have gone missing, but who have always shown their passion for the art of poetry. We all dedicate this to you and to the future generations. Again, thank you for having me here, and love to all of you. And
thank you, Charms.
From Manila, Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, everything you said. Yes. Our next contributor, also in the section Personal is Political, is Krista Choten from Covington, Louisiana. Krista is a local artist and writer who shows art and jewelry regionally. She's a columnist for the Times-Picayune and a food writer for Country Roads magazine. She's written professionally for 20 years. And she's, at the time when we published her bio, it says she is now working on her first chapbook. Perhaps it has been published or it's in process, but she's working on it. And welcome, Krista. It's so nice to see you.
Hi,
Share with us. Yes.
Hi, it's very nice to see you too. Thank you so much for doing this. This is an amazing event. This is an amazing group. The movement is amazing, and I am grateful for the opportunity to be involved with it. Y'all can hear me? Great. Hello. Thank you, Pilar, Canuto, Lisa, and Terry, fellow poets, Dennis Formento for all of the events that he coordinates on the North Shore here. So yeah, absolutely. I'm floored by this, actually, to see the book is amazing. I also work for a library, and I should have included that in my bio as well. But I don't know why I didn't. I think space, I don't know. But I got 2 copies of this book for the library, so it is there. Let me see, it is, thank you for giving us poets a voice and allowing us to speak from our hearts and our minds and our spirits. I'm looking forward to the next 10 years of it and what other changes poetry and activism can bring and ignite. Poetry has been my outlet for my whole life almost, and it is a way of processing not only life, but my life, but life events around me. And as all poets do, we process it. What's going on with the world goes into our poetry. So if you'd like me to read some of the essay, I guess I can read the beginning of it.
Sure, just a little. That'd be great. Just a
Sure.
short.
Yeah, it was a wonderful event too. So I found my voice at her voice. My hands were shaking as I helped with setup and chairs. I was really glad I volunteered to help with setting up before the event. Her Voice, a poetry program at the Women's Center for Healing and Transformation, in conjunction with 100 TPC, as it utilized my pent-up nervous energy for the evening, although not entirely. I simultaneously jumped at the chance and kicked myself when I answered Leslie's call to participate. I was supposed to read poetry, original poetry, by me. Of course, that began the inevitable stream of imposter syndrome tapes that droned through my mind, and I do things like this. Yes, I am a poet, but only published one poem in a now-defunct college literary journal. Who am I kidding? Leslie and Patricia interrupted those thoughts with another call. This time the call to get ready to perform. Cue the gallows music. I haven't read poetry aloud to an audience since, well, ever, and I was ruminating on the poem choices I made in a big way. 3, and one of which is close to my heart, and the others pertinent to my experience. The last time I was even close to reading a poem aloud was when my mother, who was herself a poet, she was a golden poet, by the way, was when my mother, who was herself a poet and an artist, passed away. My sister read a found poem at the funeral, but I was frozen and many times wanted to join in, and my sister even gave me the opportunity. But my voice had frozen that day, and this night I was hoping to reclaim it. And her voice helped me do that, as well as 100 TPC. And I thank you for the opportunity to be published and to be involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. We are going to move on to, I believe we have a video. Is that right, Pilar? A video from Noelia Arancibia. Is that what's next up?
Hi everyone, my name is Noelia Arancibia from Sucre, Bolivia. I'm going to share with you my first experience as an organizer of 1000 Poets for the Change in Portugal and in Bolivia. The first event that I organized in Portugal was called A Poesia do Clima, 26th of September of 2015. It was an intercultural event. We have the participation of Felipe Furtado, Carlos Lobo, Miquel Carvalho, Lucas Kruger, and myself also. And we read poetry in different languages, Spanish, Portuguese, English, French, Hindi, Japanese, Creole, and Quechua. It was an amazing night. The second event was called Poesía y Música per la Mudanza Climática. It was organized in a place called Aquí va ese tango, the 9th of October of 2015. We have international musicians from India and Brazil, also from Bolivia. In Bolivia, we have these 3 events. The first one was called Poesía y Canto en las Alturas. It was held in El Mercado, Quinzamolle, the 12th of December of 2015. It was organized by the poet and businessman Victor Paz Irusta. He financed the tickets of the poets that came from different places of Bolivia. We have the participation of Humberto Quino, Alex Ayllón, Omar Alarcón, Carlos Gutiérrez, Micaela Mendoza, Santiago Rodríguez, Ronald Céspedes, Marina Palacios, Noelia Arancibia, Carolina Osdevila, Rocío Álvarez, Edgar Sandoval, Cintia Arispe, Daniel Moreno from Paraguay, and the special participation of Pepe, the vocalist of La Logia. The second event was called Lectura en el Festival Letra Suelta. It was organized with the publishing house Cuatro Nombres Cartonera, Alliance Française, and the Municipal Autonomous Government of Sucre. And then we have the participation of a lot of poets, Santiago Rodríguez, José Villanueva, Johnny Méndez, Nelson Haliri, Edgar Sandoval, Yacir Bueno, Fabricio Callapa, América Cuellar, Daniel Medina Celi, Cristian Avilés, Valeria Sandy, Joaquín Quincho Terrazas, Omar Alarcón, Carlos Gutierrez, Micaela Mendoza, and myself. And the third event, it was called Lectura Poética Mundial 100,000 Poetas por el Cambio. It was organized in the Alliance Française, and we have the participation of the same poets, plus Maria Auxiliadora Valladares from Ecuador. Thank you very much, and lifelong to poetry.
Thank you. And that was Noelia Arancibia. She has organized, like she already mentioned, in Portugal and Bolivia. And we would have loved to make a whole list of all the poets. You can see that even in 3 minutes, impossible almost to mention all the poets that probably collaborated with Noelia. And so we apologize as editors because we left out of the book hundreds and hundreds of you. But do understand that what we're trying is to catch the essence of us. Okay, so it's not about names at the end, but hopefully about the essence of the movement and the legacy of Michael Rothenberg and Terry Carrion. And next we have another video. It was sent by Jennifer Schomburg from Tallahassee, Florida. She has published in New Ohio Review, Prairie Schooner, and Pleiades. And her chapbook, Fine Considering, is available from Rinky Dink Press. This is Jennifer Schomburg.
I'm Jennifer Schomburg-Kenke, coming to you from Florida in the United States, to read an excerpt from my essay, The Perfect Poem. I thought back to only a few months earlier, and the A World Without Guns, Poems of Protest and Memorial in March of 2018, organized by 100,000 Poets for Change in response to the shootings at Marjorie Stone Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. I tried to write the perfect poem for the event. I'd wanted to write what it was like to be a teacher at FSU in 2014 when we had an active shooter on our campus. How I had CPTSD from a more violent than most childhood, and how much harder that made all of this. I wanted to tell people what it was like to sign up for a training about active shooter protocols, only to find out that, surprise, it was a participatory simulation, which set back a lot of the progress I'd made in counseling and EMDR. But I just couldn't get the words to come. I picked out some poems that were about holding other people accountable for their actions, but otherwise had nothing directly to do with gun violence. But once I was at the reading, my concerns about my selections faded away. Some people read poems expressing their rage about the lack of gun control, or poems that read like spells of protection for their students. Some people read poems about the constancy of love, and others about change. One person even led us in a sing-along of Little Ava's The Locomotion. I can't remember why, but it made sense at the time. It didn't matter if I read the perfect poem for the occasion. People were at the reading to come together, to hear and be heard, to be part of a representation of what is, what was, and what could be. There was space for every voice at that reading, and that had given me so much comfort. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next contributor will be live on screen, Karen Melander-Magoon, raised in California, studied voice at Indiana University, spent 20 years singing major opera roles in Germany and Austria. Back in the US, she married a vintner and wrote and performed 4 musical portraits of famous women and has published 6 books of poetry. She lives in San Francisco. Welcome, Karen.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much. Wonderful and an honor to be here. And hi to Pilar, thank you, and Terry, and Presente Michael. We all miss you so much. I thought 100,000 Poets for Change is really a statement of love, of poetry, of people. We are all, I think all of us here have been organizing for 12 years readings for the 100,000 Poets for Change that have that's global and sort of kind of simultaneous. I think that's just amazing. And we will be having ours September 30th, as someone else is doing next Saturday. So anybody can tune in. We'll be doing it from San Francisco, as we have done for all the time ever since Michael and Terry got this started. So honored to be here today, honoring Michael and honoring the 100,000 Poets for Change. I did write something about getting involved with 100,000 Poets for Change about the same time as I was spending a lot of time with my mom, who had cancer and was dying. And my essay had to do with how important she was in my life, and how important it is community as we venture through life and become poets to kind of reflect on the world. I chose for today, from my book, A Forest of Words, my first poem from that. I am lost in a forest of words, seeking essence. I am lost in a forest of dreams. As I walk, I am lost as I follow each stream to the heart of a forest of words, seeking something I misplaced long ago in a different realm. I can see the words strung among my dreams, yet decipher no semblance of thought. I can see all the alphabets, ancient or new, jumbling chaos of syntax of everything taught. Through each eon of mind, through each age, I can find just a semblance of meaning, an echo of dream. I am lost in a forest of words, primal songs, primal essence of something I lost long ago, before time could remind me to follow a stream of ideas that would lead to my soul. I seek the heart of the world, in the mouth of every stream, the path within each cave, tumbling through ocean currents, through deep reefs no one has seen. Perhaps its veins lead underground from tree to tree and far beyond, or deep within its magma, boiling up to spill over land and oceans, creating new islands and limbs of continents. I seek the heart of the world, pumping eternally within a universe of mystery, pumping through oceans, pulling the lungs of its forests to breathe dreams, to fill its chambers with longing, that Apollo might remove the arrow, still piercing its remembrance of what is yet to be. Thank you, all of you, and thank you for the inspiration from Michael. Bless you all.
Thank you. Bless you. Greetings.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. It is an honor to be here.
Noreen, hello. How are you? I'm so glad to see you.
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Let me give you a short introduction. Noreen was the wife of the late Gary Snyder. She's a poet, author, and of 5 books. Yes. 4 of them were co-authored with her husband Gary, and she's creator of the Poetry Club on Facebook. Yes, and share with us your thoughts on the book. How did you find it?
Oh, I enjoyed the book, and I recommend it to everybody.
Wonderful.
And read it and get involved in 100,000 Poets for Change. And thank you for allowing me to be here today. It is an honor. And would that be okay? Okay. I remember this particular day on September 23rd, 2016. It was a Friday afternoon. It was after my husband Gary had a major stroke. He didn't talk much, but this one particular day, my husband was ready for us to read our poetry on compassion for 100,000 Poets for Change. This event was the most he had ever spoken since his major stroke. It changed our lives for the better. He sure surprised us all. I was so pleased and happy. He spoke that much that day. It was a miracle from God. Even for one day, 100,000 Poets for Change gave us hope, and I will truly be grateful as long as I breathe. That made us both so very happy. Like my husband always said, poetry is a communication of truth. The world is falling apart. We just wanted to tell the world to stand together as human beings and have compassion for one another through our poetry that we wrote. We wanted to make a difference in this world and be part of the solution. Never give up. Stay strong. Be positive and not negative. Be kind. Show compassion. Make a difference. He was determined to do this even though talking was hard for him. He did it. I am so proud of him. I let him know, and the smile on his face was priceless. Yes, 100,000 Poets for Change made a difference in our lives. For that, I will always be eternally grateful to this movement. I thank you so much for this priceless event. And I want to thank everyone for letting me allow my essay be in this book. And thank you very much. And I want to thank Michael Rothenberg and Terry Cherion for putting the 100,000 Posts for Change together. And I want to thank you, Lisa, and Canuta and Pyler for putting this book together. Thank you all very much. It is an honor to be here, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Noreen.
If you haven't got your book, go. Okay, you're very welcome. Okay.
Fantastic. Wonderful. We are going to move on to the next video, Susie.
It was the body camera images of the arrest on his back, uniforms, a halo around him, and his face that look. I did not know this kid, but I knew that look. I am a former Florida public and college school teacher. There had been another school shooting, but it was in my state, under the same system in which I had taught, and I knew far more about this kid than his particulars. Then I saw, amid the parkland protest posts, a call for poets to protest through poetry. My own work has had a didactic intention for a long time. My commitment to ecofeminism is inherited. My mother had campaigned for a local river cleanup and donated her complete wedding silver. So, I answered the call. Agreed to show up to Tallahassee, an hour up I-75 and 2 more down I-10. Begged a ride, booked a hotel, and I wrote. I wrote for my students, my non-compliant and low-achieving public school students, my hungover college composition students. I wrote for them. In rage and love, I wrote for them, and the poem became to be. In this time now where future tense seems presumptuous, these are our gifts left for whomever shall find them, the small talismans of our poems, our words, and our swords. Thank you.
Yes, that was Susie, and she's sent her essay from Ocala National Forest in Florida. Thank you, Susie. And we will be posting her whole video with the whole essay on Facebook. And of course, you can read it in the book. And thank you so much for everyone's patience. We were very naive, thinking that we could have 30 poets in 2 hours, but we're doing our best.
Yeah, let's go with Tom
Please,
now.
Chala.
Dear poetry colleagues around the world, in my experience, there is a similarity between the analog 90s and the new digital age. Most of the poets of the network in the 90s I never met personally, and meanwhile some of them are already dead. I'm sure most of you I will never meet personally in analog reality. So, it is great to be connected by internet, and maybe somehow, someday, in summertime, we meet on a poetry event on stage, hopefully, or not. But it is good to be connected and to have this network because humanity needs poetry. So we have a job. Thanks and good luck for everybody. Love you. Peace. Take care. Ciao.
Hey, it's hot
Tom
poetry.
from Dusseldorf, Germany. He's so fun. I really want to meet him. Analogicamente. And just quickly, well, his essay is on page 120. He's author of The Very Moment, invented quantum poetry. And well, we have another video, right? While Jessica tries to see her audio is working.
If Jessica is here, let's try with Jessica. And if not, then let's go with Valeriano.
Let's go with Valeriano's video, please. From Solar, he's actually from in France right now. And I just quickly, Valeriano was one of our hosts in Salerno in our first and only conference that we had as 100,000 Poets for Change. There's a whole chapter dedicated to Salerno. Some people have already spoken about it. It was a great experience. And please, let's listen. It's a very short and sweet message as well. There's a whole chapter dedicated to Salerno. Some people have already spoken about it. It was a great experience. And please, let's listen.
Jessica is trying.
There's a whole chapter dedicated to Salerno. Some people have already spoken. I'm hearing myself. Is there like an echo?
Oh, that's okay. Can you guys hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you turn off? Okay. Okay. So before the video, here's Jessica Wilson. I already presented you, Jessica, and please go ahead. You're so very welcome to be here.
Yeah, just turn off your YouTube for now. Then there's no echo, Jessica. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you, everyone. It's such an honor, pleasure to be here with Familia, with the world, El Mundo. We're all here under one purpose to make things better and make change. And I just want to again acknowledge, I like to call him the chief, but I want to acknowledge Michael Rothenberg. I miss him, and I know in spirit we all live through him, or he lives through us in spirit, I suppose. But I have the candle here, and earlier in the program I was crying because I really do miss him, and I wish he was here for this. So much work. He brought this whole world of activists and poets together. It's quite beautiful, and I'm so blessed to be a part of this. So my piece in the book is, I call it Virgin Activism, and here's my story. Virgin Activism, what led me to the table. My dad told me never to get involved, never sign my name on a petition or any piece of paper. A lineage of military service for the good old US of A and coming of age in the 1960s may have influenced my father, but the warning came at a price to me. Was there nothing worth raising my voice over? Was there to be complacency in my adulthood and just went with the flow and no questions asked. Now, I have never been a follower, let alone a blind follower. Growing up, I saw an abundance of homeless men, white, Latinx, black. There was a loss in their eyes, and the cardboard they held up said the word veteran. They come home in pieces, to the pieces they left behind. This is unjust, unfair, and a flaccid way to honor your brave warriors. There is no honor. This issue, close to home, was one I believe that I need to voice with my writing, within my interactions with other artists and individuals in my community. This is where my activism started. I was a baby activist. My family was never supportive of raising a fist in the air. They were whitewashed, complacent, somewhat conformist. When Michael Rothenberg posted that he was looking for, quote, 100,000 poets for change in a Facebook post back in 2010, I was curious. I knew I loved poetry and I was down for just about anything having to do with it. I was in because I believed that change was possible. And I also joined because deep down inside, I was hoping to help stir up some shit. And Rothenberg was offering me the chance on a global level. I didn't know where the event was going, but my energy was at 100%, and I joined 100 TPC in Los Angeles, California. I was paired up with the Los Angeles poet icon Yvonne de la Vega Presente. She was incredible. A stunning woman with determination. She was definitely a leader. She was a seasoned activist and was at the forefront of LA's Occupy movement. I felt empowered to see her organize what she dreamed up as a huge poetry festival that included all the houses of poetry in Los Angeles, or as many as would commit. It was my first time participating in a poetry festival, and definitely my first time behind the scenes creating one. I am so grateful to Yvonne for all that she taught me. I learned from her, and she scared the shit out of me. Her determination and no-nonsense demeanor was commanding. I idolized her so much. I didn't want to piss her off. As an artivist, educator, and poet, I choose to dedicate my word to those who are not allowed to share, not allowed to speak due to government suppression, intimidation, or punishment. I rise up, and I know when I rise, others rise with me. When I speak, I am speaking for those who cannot share at this time. My activism continues for U.S. veterans, for those killed by cops, which we continue to see over and over, that our justice system does not hold justice for victims of police. My activism is for immigrants and innocent children being detained by ICE. Poetry is my gift, and I will use it to continue sharing the truth and shed light on it over and over again. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm so honored to be in this libro. I cannot wait to hold it and smell it.
Muchas gracias, Jessica.
Michael Rothenberg, presente.
Eso.
Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, Jessica Wilson. It's really nice having you all and nurturing all these seeds of poetry, action, and activism all around the world. Of course, this candle is for Michael Rothenberg, who is present here in our hearts, in this book, in our poetry. Thank you so much. So, Pilar, now we are going to introduce Doris Davenport, who is here joining us. And Doris starts this. Hey, Doris.
Hey,
Nice
Pilar.
to meet you, finally.
Hello, Pilar. Hello, Kanuta. Hey.
Doris, could you turn off your YouTube for a moment, please?
Turn off my YouTube? Okay. Closing it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, I got it. Let me do this. I see. Turn that off. Gone. Right?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I think maybe another like Facebook or something is an echo. No.
It's open.
No, thank you. So Doris is collaborating in this chapter, Continuity Learning from Quebec. As you can see, is talking more about how years were happening and we were stick to participate and keep all together working for our communities. The chapter of Dorothy, Doris, sorry, is just for one day. Let me tell you more about Doris. Doris Diosa Davenport is a traditional Cherokee homelands in U.S. Is a 70-plus-year-old writer and performance poet, a freelance lesbian feminist visionary, PhD from USC in African American literature, working on her 13th book of poetry. Just received a really good grant from Alternate Roots for her 2023 TPC project. Welcome, Doris. Please share us more about Just for One Day.
Okay, thank you. Since you asked, I guess I will. Thank you. I have written and edited and trimmed it down to get it down to 2 minutes, right? Well, of course, listening to everyone else talk, I'm thinking, no, I have to change this, but I'm going to try to do both. I'm going to stick to it. First of all, greetings in all the languages of our book, which I don't speak except in my heart. Greetings from my magical traditional homeland of the Cherokee peoples, colonized by Europeans as Northeast Georgia, USA. I am Doris Davenport. I am 74 years old. I am an activist, writer, performance poet, and an LGBTQIA plus member. And I think that last is really important to say. I think who and what we are needs to be acknowledged, said aloud, and then we need to see how and where we connect to the oppressive isms all around us. And so I encourage us all to begin there. I am so happy and grateful to be here with admiration and gratitude for Michael and for Terry. When I first learned about this project, I harassed them both. I kept asking, can I use the logo? Can I make a t-shirt? Can I make anyway? And I'm very grateful to our 3 book editors, Pilar, Lisa, and Canuto. As soon as I did order my book, I felt just as I think Rita said, just holding the book made me very happy. And I immediately ordered 3 more. I have participated in this event since 2011. I have had varying degrees of success involving people. And in my essay on page 244, I briefly list some areas that I think could improve our events for everyone. And one of them is to, as I said, acknowledge who and where we are. But anyway, I'm reading from the end of my essay now. So what I saw about this project was the visions of infinite possibilities of global change. Nevertheless, the incessant struggles against systemic global depravity of the last few years, like misogyny, racism, classism, systemic pathology of white male supremacy, surely did exhaust us, no doubt. But in these years, 100, TPC has prevailed with the worldwide community dedicated to change. Each year of our festival, I revel, I celebrate the fact that here at least, just for one day, we make collective energies available and doable. And so I am an avid, grateful participant in 100 TPC. And this year in October, thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Doris. So we are with more participations and more experiences from all around the world. We are so happy that we can't fit of happiness on this screen. Thank you. So now let's go with more experiences. I think if our friend Dorothy Friedman, you are here. Yes, please join us, Dorothy.
Thank you so much. And I can't thank everybody enough. Of course, the main reason I'm probably here, aside from my commitment to social change, is Michael Rothenberg. And it's very hard for me to think about anything else but Michael, other than the reasons, we want social change in the world. So, anyway, I'm really sitting here and enjoying listening to everyone. I have been organizing political readings of one sort or another for the past 50 years, and I've organized quite a few for 100,000 Poets for Change at Unnameable Books in Brooklyn, with many socially committed artists. I worked actually with the very socially committed Judith Molina and Hanan Resnikov, and Julian Beck of the Living Theater for many years, and their commitment to change and peace, of course. And thank you very much for including me in this fabulous collection of work. I have a short poem relevant that I would like to read, which is called As If. As if the children in Afghanistan are not our children. As if the marches hadn't already happened. As if we are not echoing Vietnam and Nagasaki. As if we can escape our own brutality. As if the Israelites weren't fleeing to Jerusalem, as if the world weren't coming to an end, as if meditation were the answer, or medication or mediation, as if living simply were the answer, or singing or worshiping Buddha. As our offspring were not all stunted by the fastidious blends and byproducts of last century's karma. As if battered women and child abuse were really another issue. As if the war at home and the war abroad were separate, disconnected entities. As if changing the TV channel could erase our complicity in the destruction of the planet. As if the Israelis are not our children, as if the Palestinians are not our children, as if the Rwandans are not our children, as if the Albanians are not our children, as if the Serbians are not our children, as if the homeless are not our children, as if the elderly are not our children, as if we can avoid each other on Earth by living in cyberspace. As if email could replace the human connection. As if we could love one another and not go crazy. As if we could love one another and not go crazy. As if we could love one another and not go crazy. As if life is not relentless. As if we could ever be in paradise again. As if the war will give the president higher ratings, as if the cartoons are any less violent, as if the leaders are only the people bloodthirsty, territorial, and savage, as if we are all not bloodthirsty, territorial, and savage, as if we could flee to Jerusalem, as if there was a Jerusalem, as if the commencement of the Gulf War on Martin Luther King's birthday was not appropriate measure of American racism and totally in keeping with everything else. As if the gunning down of Diallo and the brutal rape of Louima were not totally in keeping with everything else. As if penetration of the enemy were not a male activity. As if the war will be over in a few days. As if the media ever told the truth. As if, and if only, there could be a new world order. As if.
Thank you so much, dear Dorothy Friedman, for this contribution and your poems. So you can find as much as with many authors and poets, writers, we included some snippets on this book because we got many essays, so we wanted to just show like all the voices from all around the world. And thank you
So much. Thank you.
So now we want to introduce you to our next friend, Angelina Bong. Angelina, join us. Thank you,
Hi.
Angelina. So we're
Hello.
excited because you are part of this chapter, Better by Now, from Continuity, Learning from COVID. It's really nice to see you. We'd love to present and to launch this book in a how to say that, presence country, present event. But now we are in a virtual launch event, so you can find Angelina Bong words on page 238 and 239. Let me introduce you. Represented Malaysia at the Philadelphia Games 2009, South Korea in poetry. Has read in 10 countries and have been translated into 6 languages. Won 2020 Georgetown Literary Festival's Wake Me Up When This Is Over contest. This is Angelina Bong from Malaysia.
Hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Hello from Borneo. I'm from Borneo part of Malaysia. The reason I'm here is again because of the late Michael Rothenberg. We organized a few events for 100,000 Poets for Change. The last one that I did was back in COVID 2021, and we had such a good time. I'm part of this group. We call ourselves the Wordsmiths of Kuching, from a small city in Borneo, in Sarawak, Borneo. And we had, for the first time, we connected with the poets in Borneo. Because of 100,000 Poets for Change, we thought we could reach out to poets in Borneo during the massive lockdown. And our event was called Terpulau, which means isolated. So with that event, we were not so isolated. So let me just tell you a little bit about what happened then. The event was, we celebrated 100 TPC's 10-year anniversary via Zoom, live stream on our Facebook. We had poets from like all levels and backgrounds, established, published, emerging, new. We have peaceful protesters, activists, teachers, artists, hoteliers, lawyers, IT professionals, all different backgrounds. And we had provoking, gentle, experimental, deep, philosophical, raw, and young voices. So just for one night, after being in a massive lockdown, Borneo, the island, we rose for one night. We had flashes of emotions in a few languages. We were very encouraged by the numbers of viewers and positive encouraging comments from different parts of the world. And after that, some of our poets stayed on in Zoom after the live stream to chat. Some of us exchanged numbers. We had new friendships that were formed in the midst of all these beautiful poems. So my heart was very full in organizing this part of this 100,000 Poets for Change. So did we make a change? I think that night the Borneo Island did not feel so isolated, and then borders, broke open on the screen. We had diversity of various faiths, cultures, and ideologies, lit up like colorful lanterns. And I think it was fitting for an anniversary. And I think we managed to had Michael to give us comments and stuff. So COVID at that time felt very far. And I think it's the beginning of a new connection driving through Borneo, because before this we were all in our own groups. We never connected before. So after this, I think we are more compelled to find more poets, maybe deep in the jungles or hidden in the next cities, for maybe the next Borneo reading, and hopefully connecting with everybody around here as well. So I've yet to get the copy of my book, but I'm really excited to get it soon. Yeah. So thank you for having me here. Congratulations to everybody. I'm currently in Korea and it's about 5 a.m. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for attending to this event with different time zones. It's craziness. Thank you to the audience who are joining us and understanding, like, it's not that easy to organize more than 100,000 poets from all around the world, working during more than 10 years. Pilar knows it. You all know that, of course, as Terry, Lisa, and everyone here. So now, please let me.
So, hello everyone on this very special occasion celebrating the 100,000 Poets for Change book. And I am incredibly grateful to and honoured to be a part of that and to have my essay in there. And it's really with great thanks to Michael that it's in there at all, because I was going through a difficult time when the book was being brought together. And I wasn't going to send anything in. And Michael encouraged me and spurred me on and gave me the confidence in myself to write something. And I'm so deeply, deeply grateful to that, as I am to Michael for his, the way he encouraged the flame of truth in other people. And especially, I know that was true for me, very much so. So deeply grateful to be a part of this extraordinary movement and to have known, however briefly, the flaming spirit, extravagant, beautiful spirit that was Michael. So I thought I'd do a little tiny poem called Fragment, which seems apt. Fragment. Listen. The whole world is calling out to you, pouring its crazy music through the holy temple of your own body. Listen, you know the tune. Rise up, set out. We know the way home. God bless.
Our script is all over the place because we had some videos, but we're running late, so we're going to our live poets who've been very, very patient, and I really thank you. But we had Caroline before Ellis coming, and so if Caroline Benson, thank you, Chava, our technical person, who's been also very, very patient.
Thank you.
Hello, Caroline, nice to meet you. Finally in person. I have to say, Caroline is in the book in one of the other sections that we've called inserts. And already Canuto spoke about the snippets, what we call snippets. And I just wanted to add that the snippets, the reason for the snippets is that we were trying to be the reader and realize that sometimes things just read the same, even if they're not the same, because our experiences are similar. So we try to extract like a main idea and think about, again, our future readers. And so don't feel it's because of your essay or anything like that. It's really because we want to tell the people that are coming after us. And the inserts, like also Canuto mentioned before, are all our articles and things that we thought would add to the book. And Caroline wrote an article for the Egypt Independent, and it's called Cairo's Poets Join a Global Chorus. And in it, you interview Youssef. She's right. I'm going to let you talk about it. I'm not sure what you're going to talk about, but let me just add that Caroline used to live then in Cairo, I imagine, and she's a researcher, an editor, and a literary translator. And I'm just going to let her continue her presentation and whatever she's come to share with us. Thank you, Caroline.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pilar and Canuto. Yeah, I still live in Cairo. It's actually 11:20. It's been really beautiful to see this launch so far. And I was really honored to have my little snippets of my essay in the book. So I want to thank the the editors so much, and also the event organizers from everywhere, and also thank you for including me. I came to know the movement through a publishing house called Al-Kutub in Cairo, which is a unique publishing house run by Param Youssef and her husband, Ahmed Abu Zaid. They have done a really good job hosting events, the Egypt events for the movement. And as a lot of people have said, the event is pretty moving. It's like people reading poetry for the first time ever, sharing their work for the first time ever, and then also established poets. So for me, just in the time of economic crisis and political repression, really extreme political repression that we live in, not just in Egypt, but also everywhere, kind of, it's really hard to find this kind of group feeling. So to share virtually this emotion and this energy with people across the world is really meaningful. Just because of some shipping, because of the distance, really, I haven't been able to see the book yet, but it's I'm really excited to see how everything came together, and I think it's a really important historical book. So thanks for the previews from everyone. And to me, it kind of feels like a miracle to have this kind of online gathering about something that is hopeful and meaningful in this time. So thanks for everyone speaking, and hope to meet you at some time in real life.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. We hope to meet you too. I would love to go back to Cairo sometime.
For first time, yes.
And send us emails if you do. Me and Kara.
I definitely will. And now we're still in Africa. We're going to stay in Africa. And our next guest, he really is at the beginning of the book. And like I said, we have scripted a lot of things for you guys. And maybe we'll edit this later on. But there's another video that was created by Ellis and Terry. And it's called Shouldn't It Be Better By Now? And we wanted to talk about that and how he talks about Niger, the situation in Africa right now. But I invite you guys to go to the YouTube channel. The video is there, the complete video. We wouldn't play the whole thing. And I'd rather listen to Ellis. And is he here?
Please
and
welcome,
see what he
Ellis.
wants to share with us. And so thank you so much for your patience, Ellis. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
All right then. It's my pleasure to be with you guys tonight. Hello?
Hello. Yes, please tell us. I don't think you've had the chance to see the book, but you've seen the photos. What do you want to share with us tonight about your experience with the 100,000 Poets for Change?
Well, I want to say it has been a very wonderful journey. And I wish Michael was here because he was the one who contacted me from the start. And I'm happy to be part of this. And I just hope and wish that we'll continue to do this until we get change, justice, and sustainability around the world. And I wrote something today I would like to share with you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
All right. I wrote this morning and I call it Poetic Rescue. I need some fresh air that time, but suffocation claimed he's got my back. Nah, I refuse to be intimidated. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. When I was in darkness, I heard rabid dogs bark and scamper around, spreading wicked lies. There is no point we cannot return from. If we stand for ourselves first, and then for humanity first, moving forward, the memories of the past should ignite a positive future. No matter how in contrast it is with the present reality, dream positive, dream wild. Dare to live in a world created from your own imagination against all contention. My soul needs to be saved, but I cannot do it alone. Can we please together save all our souls? Can we please together with our words, our music, our dance, our art, our policies, our actions demonstrate empathy and make our world a better place, a safe haven? In all of this, reading and writing poetry saved me. 100,000 poets for change worldwide. Ooh-ha! Thanks for
Yes.
having me.
Thank you, Ellis. And I want to bring online on screen Terry Carrion, because again we've gone off script, and we wanted she needs to leave, and we're about to end. We have a few one more presentation and a video coming, but Terry, please share with us. I'm sorry.
I got disconnected for a minute, so I didn't know if we played part of that video from Ellis, but Ellis and I did this video where he created the music, and I did this whole collage of images, which was in response to basically the oil industry and the realization, being in other parts of the world, you really don't know how bad it is, and being connected to Ellis really gave me a perspective of the decimation of his country, his region. And so that was a real inspiration to be able to do that with him. And that's really what I wanted to talk about. And then I think we were going to maybe talk about, read a poem to a child a little bit, which was the other part, the later initiative that Michael also spearheaded, mainly in part to the fact that his son Cosmos overdosed, and he felt compelled to do something that had to do with children and poetry. And I know a lot of people have done events in that particular area of the big umbrella of what is 100,000 Poets for Change. So just thank you, everybody. I'm sorry I have to go, but I have other appointments, and it's wonderful. It's great. It's beautiful. Wonderful to see you all. And thank you all so much. It is lovely and wonderful. And we will continue. I will do my best to continue without Michael. As you know, he was quite a force and energy, hard to keep up with. But with all of you together and us together, we can do it. So thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you for summarizing some of the things we wanted to touch upon. Of course, read a poem to a child. It's another one of our sub-chapters. We are going to bring our last live guest. Is he here? Or are we watching a couple of videos before him? No, here, let's see if that's going to be him. That's becoming like a surprise thing, if it's going to show or not. But while this happens, Mitko Gogov, he's from Macedonia. And one of the most exciting things every year was to wait for all the Macedonian posters, because they really set up the bar so high in terms of design. And we were always waiting for those posters. Mitko was here, and here he is now. So Mitko has an essay. He's going to share some words with us. And besides having this article that I mentioned, Mitko also sent a poem with which we close the book in remembering Michael. Of course, I don't talk much about Michael because he's just part of who I am now. And of course, he's part of us now. And we're just carrying the legacy and keeping the work. And I'm just going to let Mitko take over, please.
Okay, do we hear good now?
Yes.
Okay, it's probably difficult for you to to control all those sounds and voices that are coming across the globe. But first of all, uh, thank you for bringing us together today or tonight for me. Uh, Hello, Terry. It was so good to see you tonight among us. And of course, thank you, Pilar, Lisa, and Canuto for making this book a reality. It's really something that uh, not only that collect our collective memory of what we are doing in this first 13 years, I would like to say, because I really think that we are just starting to put the voice of the poets and making impact in our close communities firstly, but as well globally. I really need to say that I miss Michael because I'm part of this community from the first day and even before starting the 100,000 Poets for Change global movement. We were friends with Michael, and he was one of the best voices that are coming from the States that really do impact to me as a reader, firstly, but afterwards with his impact as a tutor, basically, and my guru or spiritual father in the poetry. And I want to say that I'm happy that I'm part of the book as well of this event today. And greetings to all of the people that were part of this occasion. And good luck. I wish good luck not only for the book, but as well for the events that and the organizer that will do their event next Saturday. We are doing our festival for 13 years already, and we're gonna have poets from Greece, from Serbia, from Bulgaria, and all the most of the cities that are part of Macedonia. We are doing regularly an anthology. We're gonna have it this year as well. And as Pilar mentioned in the beginning, we are going to do the poster exhibition with the poster designs that we uh, received this year for our open call. And I will not take more time. I want only to share one message that I received a few minutes ago. It's from Radka Bogdan that lives in the States, but as she is how to say representative of the global movement in Macedonia. Likewise, she is part of of the 100 TPC movement in the States. She wrote me only short message, and maybe this will be accepted that the message from Macedonia is that we love you, and uh, as more as we are able to grow and to continue to spread the message of peace, justice, and sustainability, if the road takes you to Europe or to to Southeast Europe or especially to Macedonia, please come and join us. And the message from Radka is that there are so many Macedonian poets in Macedonia, as well as around the world in immigration. Some even in Florida, where Michael started this poetry movement for change, who are following and participating in this movement and events around the globe. It's really a lot for the planet globe that we are getting growth and that we are reaching our main point. And she said that she say kudos to all of us for nurturing and continuing Michael Rothenberg legacy. I will not speak more, and I have the one very short poem that is part of the book. aside the posters from our country and aside the essay that I wrote it. So I'm very happy that somehow it happened that this is the poem that I read on the last edition at Struga Poetry Evenings few weeks ago. So I hope you will enjoy it. Hidden scripture. Don't forget the written words, the voices that subdued the joy of your voice. Unite the city, move the bridges. In the center, place a fighter. Move the white, capturing peace. Do not worry, the winners write it down. So maybe we are the winners because we start writing our history. Long live 100,000 poets for change. Long live all of you, and welcome to Macedonia. I will be happy to have you in my home.
Clicking on mute and muting myself at the same time. We're almost at the end. We want to thank all of the live poets. Lisa and Canuto are here to say goodbye, and we are going to play after we say goodbye, right? 3 more videos.
Yes, please.
And hopefully, I think we'll try to, maybe we can edit the show that will flow a little better and you can rewatch it later on.
But now we can just enjoy.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. It was inspiring and wonderful. So nice.
I want to say, I'm sorry, I have to say this. I even wrote it down because I didn't want to forget anything. I want to thank.
What do you want to say?
I want to thank everybody. Well, I want to just to say, please, this book is for everybody, is for libraries. It has a resource section, a great index. You can find the poet you're looking or the city you're looking for really quick. And so we just want you to be happy as we are of having achieved this. I want to thank, of course, Lisa and Canuto, because without them, this wouldn't have happened. I want to thank Michael and Thea and all of you guys in the movement, everyone who sent an essay, those who helped review the book, and those who are supporting our efforts by buying it. I want to thank Chava, our tech person, for his patience. And finally, like somebody already said, we have to keep doing the work. It doesn't matter if it's not called 100 Poets for Change. Our work, you know what it is, poets. And thank you so much.
And thank you, Pilar, because you were our fearless leader in the editorial team. If does everyone know that Pilar designed the book? She made it look the way it does. The colors, the way she organized the chapters. So we are eternally grateful to you. Thank you.
Please get it.
Yes.
It. Go to Amazon, find our book, and then ask for shipping. There is shipping from all around the world. So you will enjoy it. As many people said during this streaming, this is a book about history. The history will make together to happen. Of course, it doesn't matter if this art and activism is named 100,000 Poets for Change, but it's really a beautiful dream to think that once we will be more than 100,000 Poets for Change, as Michael Rothenberg had dreamed once.